Hello and welcome to Caribbean Content Creators. Today I have with me Trinbago Vibes, also known as Rajiv. And Rajiv, I owe you an apology right away because we've been talking for a long while now.
Yeah,
You've showed up. We went and we ate a roti in Trinidad and
we did.
Tobago, and I am not ready for this interview. So it's just two dudes talking about YouTube, and I want to apologize to you already.
Yeah.
And I want to apologize to you again. It is like it breaking my heart to even admit this right now and leave this in the recording, but it is the truth. You are very close to 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So today I hope to learn from you all the secrets and the source of how you got to 10,000 subscribers so it could benefit someone who is following on that journey. So thank you very much for being here. Welcome to the show. I admire the work that you're doing, the effort that you put into your videos. I don't get the impression that you just dive into it like I might be diving into this interview right now. Before we get to the YouTube aspect, tell me a little bit about your day job.
Oh, well, I'm Rajiv, and you might know me by the catchphrase, "What's up, my Trinbago Vibes Peeps?" But yeah, my day job. So basically, I am what you call a geometician. My first degree actually is something in land surveying. So yeah, I'm a graduate land surveyor. Currently, I do work in the GIS related fields. That is Geographic Information Systems. So that's basically what I do Monday to Friday during the week. So yeah.
What that job involves, if you don't mind me asking?
So Geographic Information Systems is basically we record certain assets on the field and have it in a database, so in a map form and with the assets. So if you think something like Google Maps, how Google Maps is, where you have all the different street names, and when you click on a street name, you might get some information. That is basically what I do as my day job. Map assets outside in the field in a map and have it related to our database.
The reason I'm asking that question is to get a sense of, is there anything regarding your day job? Because you started YouTube in May 2020.
Yeah.
That's when you posted your first video.
Yeah.
I looked up on Instagram. You had a post that you made around March 2020. So I'm trying to get a sense of this creative bug that bites you to make videos. And is it inspired by your job? Is there any kind of creativity you were exercising
Actually,
as a younger boy? Where that desire came from to say, let me start a YouTube channel? I know in your very first video, you talk about, I want to showcase parts of Trinidad the way travel vloggers may do it, but I'm seeing a gap. And I want to talk about that gap a little bit more in terms of maybe what the local folk who were on the scene and what you felt they weren't doing and the way you wanted to capture it. But to go back to your creativity in youth, or what you would say direct you towards making video?
Well, that's a good question. And we're going back in time here a little bit, because this was, I know about YouTube from when it launched. That was when 2007, 2008, somewhere there. I remember it was just 5 minutes videos. And really and truly, my creativity in this field came from UE. Like while I was studying surveying in UE at university, and this is 2004, 2007, basically, that time period, that 3-year period, I was part of the Hindu Society in UE Hindu Society. And not only was I part of it, I was a part of around Diwali time, they used to have a play. And the guys there, Komal and Kivan, they used to actually have trailers for this play that we have as part of the Diwali program. And it was just amazing how we should just go and randomly shoot things on the outside, and they would have put together this little 10-second teaser or 15-second teaser of the play to come and check it out in UE. And I think it's from there I started to enjoy that aspect of it. So even when they left, eventually I ended up taking up that role and started writing my own plays, doing the production for it, editing, and because of that, I ended up doing some editing as well for when my brothers from other mothers, some of my partners got married. Part of the reception, I put together the story of how they met their wife and basically bringing together something that you wouldn't really normally see in a wedding reception. And had plenty of people was like, hey, that was real good. So, you should look into doing this. And I never really thought about it so much so, because I actually have a YouTube channel, my first YouTube channel called Chronicles of Rajiv. And I use that to pop the teaser trailers, because when I went back in UE to do masters, I just check out Hindu Society to see how they're going. and they actually invited me to come back and help them with their Diwali play. So I ended up jumping back in, even in my postgraduate degree into it. So that's when I actually started that YouTube channel, and this basically on that one is Chronicles of Rajiv.
That channel is still available and have public videos on it?
Yeah, it does. And it'll have my plays that I did back then anyway.
All right, that's fantastic. So what I'm going to do, folks, is in the show notes, I'm going to put the links to these different channels. And I want to encourage y'all. I don't know if y'all, by the time you're hearing this, if Rajiv would have hit 10,000 subscribers. Excuse me. But I want to encourage you to check out his channel, subscribe to his channel. He's doing amazing work that features Trinidad and Tobago. And to talk some more about these videos you were making with Yui and then the reception videos. What were you taping this on back then? What were you editing on?
I was taping this on, boy. I think I was taping this on, it was old camera or old video that my dad would have. Like, no, it was a video recorder. Them old school camcorders kind of thing. And then I was using basically pictures, and putting together the story via pictures. So, like, my friends would have sent me a whole set of pictures, and then I used to use Windows Movie Maker back then, because it was straightforward, simple, transitions, basic stuff. Not the kind of complications we're doing now. But yeah, so that's what I used to use for the wedding receptions. For the plays, it was I had a camcorder. I used to borrow my father a camcorder, and then we used to go on. They had a makeup department kind of based on the crew I was working with, and we'll go and dress up people in the different styles, and then we'll go and film somewhere in UE, and then I'll put together something quick. And the easiest spot to upload it at the time would have been on YouTube now. So you could upload that and then share it, because around then, if you go on the old channel, that first channel, you might see a play split into 3, part 1, part 2, part 3. And that's because YouTube at the time wasn't allowing you to go beyond 10 minutes. You could upload up to 5 minutes or under, or 10 minutes and under video. So it had to split it up in some cases.
Remind me what year it is that you would have been making these plays and uploading it to YouTube?
That would have been more postgraduate. So that would have been 2009 to 2012, around there.
And you just disappear for about 8 years old, for 8 years, and then return to YouTube in 2020?
Yeah, because I still watch a lot of YouTube, but I didn't really consider jumping on board in the early or anything. This actually happened back in 2020, during COVID actually. So what happened before the COVID pandemic hit? Me and the girlfriend at the time, well, she's currently my wife now. We had this big trip we was planning. We was planning to go Chicago, New York in one big trip. So in doing that, I like to plan when I go in abroad, to plan what I'm to do now. So I don't it had times I would go and you would, wing it. But I find once you plan something, you just get more out of your trips and it'd be more efficient. So in planning those trips, I was to go on YouTube and watch a lot of other YouTubers, especially for New York and some Chicago, but more New York than anything else. And it had me wondering, when COVID hit now, it's I was still watching some of them, because it's well, one day I might eventually end up going there. And it's wait now, anybody doing these kind of travel vlogs or food vlogs here in Trinidad? And when you type up Trinidad, I came across two or three channels that YouTube was recommending.
You could remember some of the names that was popping up back then that caught your attention?
Taste of Trini was one. And Trini Adventure Seekers was the second one. Right now they're Adventures with Lovey and Matt. And I think it had a few others that was coming up now and again, but I can't remember them properly. But it was those two that popped up. And when I was watching it, it was decent. They was doing vlog style content, but it wasn't doing it to the way I was observing how these people would have done it in New York or even Chicago and whatnot. Now, I was basically it was the vlog style. I would say a vlog style, but you wasn't really getting much information out of it in terms of, hey, if I want to go and do this now, if I want to try this now. Well, you used to get away with Taste Trini, because she had the cooking going on. And I learned making doubles from one of her videos actually, and I did that for a video. So she still was giving out some things, but it wasn't to the, I would say, the caliber that I know it could have been. and I'm probably using the wrong words. No offense to you all if you're watching this.
Yeah, no. That's fine, because I mean, you would have the opportunity to define what the caliber is. Is it in terms of a historical perspective? What are you, as someone who is traveling to New York, or you thinking maybe about the tourist who is coming to Trinidad? Was part of your YouTube strategy to say, if I could add this type of information to my videos, I am going to satisfy a particular type of viewer? So what did you want to bring to the table in your videos? And thinking about one of them as the historical perspective.
No, yeah. I'll just touch on the historical perspective first before I jump back into things. When I was young, somehow history always fascinated me, because I have this thing that you have to know where you come from in order to truly appreciate where you're going. Simply put, now, and sometimes history, I mean, they say history is written by the winners, but at the same time, history has no bias, right? I mean, it is basically facts that happen. And so it's been interesting how the world is shaped based on our history. So that's why I try to include that whenever I could, because I'll try to research and see what history we have, because, we've been a colonial island in a sense, and with slavery and indentureship, we have a good bit of different history. Apart from the first people and everything, we have a good catalog of people. Is Kalalu? No, Pilau. Pilau is the one with the mixed pot kind of thing. Yeah. We have Pilau kind of people now. So we have cultures all over the place. So it'll always be interesting to learn history of certain spots and to bring it out, but not overburden people with history, because, I mean, let's be real. Most people would find history boring, but if you could add in snippets of it in a video, I think it's elevated a little bit. It's make it more appreciative of where the surrounding is, where we might be like take things for granted. Now, I went too much in the history part. I missed out on the first part of the question.
That's fine, man. We were talking about the, what you're trying to bring to the table in your videos.
Oh, yes.
To let it be the caliber that, because we're thinking about the type of videos you like to watch. When you go into New York, you're looking for certain type of content, and what is the little sprinklings. Of course, you'll have your little secret sauce that you're keeping to yourself, that aspect. But the goal of this show and these conversations is for whoever may be the aspiring YouTuber, they could look at how you are approaching what took you to 10,000 subscribers and say, hey, I like what I'm hearing along these lines. Let me try that angle. So what was, when you entered the game in 2020, or re-entered, I should say, what did you want your videos to have in particular? And let me add another question to that, and hopefully this helps. You're going to a new place in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's say, for instance, Cora.
Mm-hmm.
Was part of the groundwork that you doing do you just go and wing it? Was some of the things that Rajiv, Trinbago Vibes, is doing in the background to make that video outstanding to his viewers?
Okay, let me use Cora for example. Before you even reach Cora, I will go online and just do a little bit of research of what Cora is about, what history Cora has, what it have to do in Cora, so to speak, right? And then basically, for those kind of formats, is I want to show you all how you get in there more or less. But it's not, I don't want to waste your time with the, an entire drive. Like, because if you sometimes take an entire drive, wherever you're coming from, it might take hours. And there are some people who do that on YouTube. I'm just going to give you the basic of how to get there, because now with Google Maps, you can reach anywhere fast, quickly. Sometimes they have some errors, but so that's the first aspect of things. I was like, okay, let me show you how to get here. I'll break up a video in sections, and then driving along the area, I'll try and capture some B-rolls. If I see something interesting along the way, I will come out and record it, and I'll chat.
Like $10 roti.
$10 roti, exactly. So if say I come up and I just happen to pass, I see a shop saying $10 roti out in front, I will stop, and then I will include this as part of the content before I continue the rest of the video, and then I'll just continue and record, and in between, if I can remember what I'll comment to say, I'll come out and see it. There are certain things I will be ad hoc about it. It'll just randomly on the drive talk, when I'm out there, if I see something, I'll talk about it. But most times it'll be planned, kind of. And yeah, and then I'll just end it once I meet the target of, okay, we hit everything here today. This is Cora for you. I'll try and get in the little drone shots, because we was discussing this earlier today. Now, from when I started, the first set of videos to even now, I have kind of evolved. when I started recording on my phone at the time, which was an iPhone 8, and I ended up getting one of them cheap action cameras, like them $40 action cameras. So that is basically what I was recording on, and I had mics because before you even started the YouTube channel going back into the first set of questions you was talking about. Like I said, I was looking at traveling, and then I was watching those videos. And when COVID happened, just recapping here. When COVID happened, it's like I realized that okay, I could probably add to the different dimension on YouTube of what I saw from those other YouTubers like Kiabi Bar in New York and whatnot. I could probably add to that on YouTube as the channel Trinbago Vibes. And it took me a while to come up with the name Trinbago Vibes because I know I wanted to do something Trinidad and Tobago. And it's like vibes. Well, yeah, we have our vibes on the channel, and vibes is short for vibrations. In case of you, if you don't know, sometimes we spell it VYBZ, or sometimes I just went with the typical English word VIBES.
Yeah, listen, you have a fantastic name. You have a fantastic username because you think about Trinidad, you think about keywords that people enter in on Google, a Trini way looking for something. They look for Trinbago. They have Trinbago News. Trinbago Vibes is a fantastic name. It's one of the names that stands out the most to me, even on the local YouTube scene. So hats off to you to finding and settling on a name, and that is the people could find you easily searchable, I guess.
Yeah. So and that was one of the reasons as well. It's like, all right,
what's some names you considered before Trinbago Vibes?
What were some of the names? Why it's so long ago?
If you remember, we could always come back to it.
I was actually thinking Trini Life, and then I was like, nah, I wanted to keep it to just Trinidad. And I wanted to incorporate Tobago. And it's like, I know it was Trinbago off the bat, but I didn't know what that last piece was. It's either Trinbago Life or Trinbago Times. But somehow I end up on Trinbago Vibes. The thing is once I start doing YouTube, then suddenly you just see a set of other local YouTube started to pop up. Other channels.
Yeah, the time was right for it in terms of 2020 and TikTok and people appearing there. And you started, you're posting on YouTube, you're posting on Instagram in particular. Is there a particular, these questions will kind of be jumping around as they come to me and the conversation evolves, right? But is there a particular reason, because I would hear you mention in some of your videos that, you could find me on Instagram. As part of your YouTube strategy, growth and whatnot, is there a particular reason you've focused on those two social platforms?
Well, yeah, because YouTube, to me, at the time, because this was when we started back in 2020, it wasn't going anywhere. And out of all these most social platforms, I think it had the most longevity. I have pronounced that wrong. Is they coming to me at the time?
Yeah, that would just give me real trouble. I think it's longevity.
Longevity, yes. Yeah. The longevity. And it was one where I realized, wait, I had get monetized here. So in terms of, I can actually make a little change from doing it. So it was a no-brainer to jump on that. And Instagram, I just loved Instagram from before now. But I didn't want to repeat the same thing I was doing on YouTube, on Instagram. So like my initial thoughts, and this is going back to the beginnings, things have evolved and changed over time. But this was my initial thoughts in the beginning, that initially Instagram was a spot where I would go on, like post a photo, landscape photography of something I'm doing. Or it's like if you're on my Instagram, you might get an idea of what the next video going to be. But it just evolved into just my love for landscape photography. And I might do short videos where just nature shots on that. So if you follow like Trinbago Vibes, Instagram is everything Trinidad and Tobago, but in photos and reels, short videos, natural landscapes. It won't have anything with the food aspects. It won't have anything with how to get there or whatnot.
So it's another dimension that people could see the work that you're doing.
Exactly. So, and I try to keep it separate because although I'm quite aware that sometimes each platform would have different audiences. So sometimes if you post on one thing you post on one, you could post on your next one and you might get different people watching. But I still wanted to keep it a little separate. So it's like, okay, if you come on Instagram, you will see something different from what you would see if you come on my YouTube channel. So, And that's how it basically evolved. And to be honest, timing, Dread. Because working, I'm married now, and the amount of social media platforms, if I had to keep up with everything, I will burn out. So that's why I stick to this YouTube and Instagram. I have a Twitter as well, but Twitter is just there. I had that since the first 3 things I actually started was Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. But Twitter is just there to just throw out random thoughts and just to see the bacchanal going on.
I started on Facebook. I jumped over to YouTube. Recently, I started back on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because, and not for posting purposes, it is a beautiful place to make connections with people. And I realized that through the podcast and, you know, the message. I think there are a lot of facilities that you don't get in terms of like making maybe private connections with other creators and whatnot.
Correct.
And is helping, Instagram is helping along those lines.
Yeah. And the nice thing about Instagram too is on the back end, people could message you, DM you on your Instagram. So if they want to get in contact with me and they don't have my number or anything, they can always send me a message. So I'll get messages on Instagram. And then our next aspect of Instagram, sometimes for content ideas. Sometimes I'll be in my office, and I'm not talking about work office here. We're talking about the one spot every man is beyond, you know, when he offloading, he's be thinking about certain things. Right? That office I'm referring to. I'll be, you'll be on your phone scrolling through. Sometimes I'll be scrolling through Instagram and I'll come across different things, different food spots, different thing. When I mean different things, different places in Trinidad, people went and take photos and they'll be like, wait now, where's this? And that is when I'll start to get the idea, okay, well, let me look into this or whatnot now. Or I'll come across even news. Sometimes I get my news from Luke TT and thing on Instagram. So yeah, so I think being on Instagram, it widens your aspect apart from like meeting people and whatnot and deepening your connections. It is a nice spot to just get ideas from, in a sense, apart from making your connections. Because with YouTube is just you and whoever else, but you have to find a way to reach out to other people.
Yeah, it's a kind of one-way conversation.
It is
you have the comment section that you could engage people. You started in May 2020. How long it took you to hit that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours?
It was easier for me to hit that 1,000 subscribers than the 4,000 watch hours because I started this doing short videos. And when I mean short videos, because the style I was going for wasn't, I was explaining this to you, it wasn't the like vlog style. Some aspects of the video would have vlogging, but I wanted to basically be feeding you information and cut into the chase. I mean, in her comments, people want some of the videos to be longer and things. But like for me, if I watch my video, I want to, get straight to the point in certain cases and not have too much BS in it, in a sense. And
but who you doing that for? You doing that for the viewer or you're doing that for me as a creator? I really do like to...
I think it's a combination of both. Because I think you'll have people who would appreciate that short to the point, and then obviously you'll have people who will appreciate the long form content. But sometimes, like, I think I'll try to do it for both, but it's really for me. Because if I can sit down and like, boy, I get bored watching this, If I think I'm getting bored watching certain aspects of this video, then to me, I'm thinking, well, somebody else watching it would get bored the same way. So that's why sometimes I try to keep it to the point and short as possible. Right now, because I've monetized, I try to make it 8 minutes at least. Because you need, for those of you who don't know, your videos need to be at least 8 minutes for you to have AdSense. Anything shorter than that, you wouldn't be able to. I'm not sure if you would, because I think YouTube have a new policy now where they'll still show ads on it, depending, but you wouldn't get anything from it.
I think it took me a long time getting back to that point of the long videos and the BS or whatever. I was kind of creating along those lines. And 2 things I recognize. If it is that I was making Red Wall News videos only still, I would still be waiting on hitting that 4,000 watch hours.
Yeah.
So I jumped up into like the 8 to 12 minute bracket.
I think that is decent time though. The 8 to 12 minutes. I think that is perfect time. It's enough to get engagement and for somebody to enjoy. I mean, it has some people who say the ideal time, and this is the thing. We can say that now, and next year it could be something else. YouTube is forever evolving. in terms of, I wouldn't say YouTube so much as I guess with all the other social platforms that it has, it basically forcing trends to happen. And certain trends will happen. So right now, before, the standard was 16 minutes video was the ideal thing. Now it's be like between 8 and 12 minutes. If you get a video in, that'll be perfect. Because if you're watching in these stats, right? I mean, some people will enjoy the long format video. But if you watch your stats and your retention rate, like say more than 50% of your viewers dropping off before you reach the halfway mark. Like right now, I just try to, in terms of retention, try and, if you tune on to watch my video, try and get you to the halfway mark. Right? I mean, I know stats not everything, but for me, that shows that you're enjoying this content.
I want to add to it that you say that stats isn't everything, but stats to some great extent informed how my videos eventually evolved. Because you see, your videos evolve. Like for instance, there was something where I would start some of the videos in the past. I started with a kind of musical B-roll kind of sequence. And I realized that was just, looking at the statistics, it was just tanking the views because people, they grab on, they hang on to a story as quickly. They see in our face, they have an idea where we're going. You started a video, I don't remember it offhand right now. I think it was the Moruga video where you were crossing the bridge. And I said, that's a brilliant starter video. I don't know if it's intentional or not. But you show the scene with you on the wooden bridge. And it's like, I wonder if Trinbago Vibes going and break your tail now. So, you give the person something to hold on to. And they're watching it. And you may be appealing to some secret desire for that they have for you to fall. So that was a really good start. So I think stats, yes, they're not everything. But they play a role in the creator looking at the video, looking at where they're losing people and trying to see, well, how do I change these sequences? If you get somebody further along in the video, there's certain chances you could take. You could probably break into a B-roll musical sequence and they say, Daniel, let me watch it out. And,
speaking of that, right? And this is what I've learned along the way. As you say, we evolve. Because if you watch the first set of videos, the first 2 and a half, 2 years of my videos, you'll see I'll welcome you, the normal intro, and then I have a short intro, actual musical intro, showing you pieces of Trinidad and Tobago. And then if you watch these videos now, there's no intro video. I just jump straight into the topic, however we're doing. And I think that is also a strategy I learned. And I mean, the more you do YouTube, and the more you should be learning about YouTube and watching other bigger YouTubers do what they do in terms of trying to get your videos to that certain level now to make it more engaging, to bring in more people. And one of the strategies, you see, the first 30 seconds of your video is the most critical part of your video. Because in the first 10 seconds, somebody will know if they're watching this or not. Right now, in the current phase of YouTube, because YouTube is really going through different phases. So that's why, like now in my videos, I would tell you, if you see as I'm doing roti hopping, your first few seconds you see me with a roti or something that giving you, hey, this is what we're doing in this. I'll tell you what we're doing for this whole thing. So, and then I'll jump into the other parts of it. It basically is to get a viewer more engaged in the first few seconds. And once they engage, I realize after that, you could do whatever and they most likely they'll stick along for the ride. But at least for that first minute, I guess some people call it the hook. In the first 10 seconds, they got to hook somebody. If they by chance they click on this video to watch it, jump straight into whatever you're planning to do or talk about. And then, like, give them a snippet of the main highlight of why they should be watching this video. And then you could jump back out and start it how you would normally want to start it from the beginning of the story and go through it. And then eventually come back to what you initially showed them in the beginning.
So I follow everything that you're saying, and it is interesting to know that they have all this research into things like hooks and using B-roll and building engagement and keeping the viewer for the ride, whether it's text on screen, whether it's changing scenes every 3-4 seconds or whatever. There's a certain part of me, and I'm wondering how it impacts you. There's a certain part of me that says, if I follow a particular formula for engagement, does that affect your creativity or who you are as an individual when you're making a video? I don't know if I'm communicating that question right.
No, that's a good question. And I would say yes and no, because the first, you could still use those strategies, but still do it in your own way, in your own style, right? And it don't even have to be a minute long. It could just be first 20 seconds and then jump into how you would want to do a video. So it don't have to be like what the standard text say in a sense now. And so to me, because it's not like I'll do this all the time, because this is our next thing. I realize if you're doing the same thing, sometimes you will do a video and you realize it work. Like for example, if I do double chopping, I know that will work and I'll get the views from it. But it's not like the next two, 3 videos are going to continue doing double chopping. Because I mean, as humans, after a while, if you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over, you'll get fed up. Right? So that why it'd be good to change it up ever so often. So getting back to the point of hampering your creativity, I would say not really, because you can still use these little strategies, but have your own twist on it, and not necessarily follow it to the T, but still understand if this is how you want to bring somebody in to watch your video, this is the way to do it, and that seems to work.
You said recently in our life, I was looking at that, you're posting a video every week until 2025. And I'm kind of curious about, you started in 2020.
Yeah.
What is your objective? Where do you want to be on YouTube? Share a little bit about the secret goals of Trinbago Vibes. What do you want to accomplish on YouTube by 2025?
2025. And I remember telling my wife this. Well, she was a girl for the time. I wanted to post one video every week for the next 5 years when I now started. That was the goal. And basically, it's like, I say within those 5 years, I would have explored every aspect of Trinidad and Tobago. So that is the ultimate goal. I realize, this is what, going into the 3rd year? Well, soon will be the 3rd year. That even when 5 years reach, there's plenty of things I may not have even covered. Because initially, when I did this, I was going to stick mainly to places. Food came, I lie. The first video I did was a double chopping. Yeah, I was going to do basically food and places. And I didn't expect the food aspect to take a bigger role in it. I say I'd sprinkle a little food in between and just stick to just places now. How to get here. This is what these things is about. And then over time, ideas start to form, things start to develop. I start to watch more YouTube, seeing what other people do. And then I get certain ideas of certain videos I would like to do. And I know certain things, because on YouTube, they'll say, start with what you have. But I will tell people, the first thing to get before you start anything is make sure your audio good. Because if your video, even if your video shaky or whatnot, people will quicker forgive you for that once the audio is good. So the next step is to probably get a good camera or something, or a stable camera, because stable footage is better quality. It shows better quality. So audio is the first thing though. And I realized this, when I now jump into it, I realized that was the main thing. Because before I jump in, as we were chatting earlier, it's not that I just jump in nilly-willy and just decide to just record. I was actually doing the research. And COVID allowed me that time to do that research, because we was home. Everybody was basically home and couldn't do nothing. And that's when I started to watch more of those tech channels and how to grow your YouTube channels and all kind of thing, and see how I could apply it to the Trinbago Vibes aspects. So, as in coming up with the Trinbago Vibe aspects, and I listen to certain other podcasts on YouTube, I kind of get this, I'll show you this. I kind of develop a goal that is Trinbago Vibes. I have a format, and this is it here. I'll show you it.
Oh, so this is part of the secret sauce that
This is the secret sauce I'm showing you, right?
So for those of you listening to the audio version of this, Rajiv is showing me current Trinbago Vibes map.
Yeah, basically a map highlighting where I want things to go, some ideas I would have. Oh yeah, and for those of you watching, this book, basically, I have a book dedicated to Trinbago Vibes in terms of all ideas and everything.
This is fantastic. Thank you very much for showing me this. Is a blue kind of diary planner, 2023 marked on it, Trinbago Vibes written on the spine, and you as part and I love seeing this because as part of this is your creative process and how you're managing it.
Yeah, because
why inspired to use a book like versus something like Google Keep or other things you would hear about like Notion?
Oh, I am a tech person, but kind of old school as well. I like writing stuff and I like seeing it one time in terms of having it a book, a diary kind of thing. I just like that aspect, this old school aspect. And it helps me, it keeps me grounded in a sense. And because with, I know the new stuff, the few other apps, it'll be easier to probably use, but somehow writing it down I get a greater satisfaction writing down certain things or writing down ideas, writing down a script rather than typing it. If sometimes I'll forget this book in the living room and I have my phone with me and an idea coming to me, I'll use notes, right? And type up whatever. But yeah, this is a nice book and the thing is, right? I use a diary because I like these aspects of it. The dates. I know people would see the dates because I use this as a table of contents. So say, let me just show you, for example.
I really appreciate you taking the effort, the time, to go through your creative process here.
So you see, I already have a table of contents of where I could find these voiceovers or these ideas for the different videos I'm doing. And then what I'll do, and this is part of the creative process as well, at the beginning of the year, I will write down a set of ideas or what videos I want to do from before. I wouldn't get all because ideas evolve. So this is like video ideas I have for the year that I hopefully plan to tackle. Some of them I did already. And yeah. And then at the beginning of each month in this diary too, right, I'll have, let me show you. Lyndon again, behind the scenes here.
This is, I love the creative process. So for me, this experience and see this is wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have tentative video ideas and then updates and changes, right? And you see, roti hopping and so this book comes in real handy, and I prefer writing stuff down and having this physical copy. I could, yeah.
So what's some other aspects that you could share in terms of how you would manage your creative process apart from this book? You have any other things you could share that may benefit an aspiring YouTuber like myself?
I think the next thing is you will have a million ideas, but it's always be good to have somebody you could bounce it off. So in this case, my wife, I will sometimes, if I come with an idea, I'll bounce it off her. And she will sometimes be, well, okay, I see where you're coming from, but she'll ask me certain questions that might evolve the idea a little further or realize, wait, no, that is, I didn't consider this aspect, or, this is really a crappy idea.
Hey, listen, if ever you're looking for somebody to enhance your creativity, get married. Because a wife in particular, boy, wow, they'll just lay have it and like, all right, that was already a dumb idea. I knew it, but I just wanted you to hear it.
Correct. So I would say, get somebody you could bounce off ideas off, just to get either validation or a second opinion on certain things you may not have considered. And sometimes it helps in terms of sometimes in some of the videos I will go and spend a day in certain places that I've never really spent the day on, like Arima. I've never been like I've driven through Arima already, but I never spent the day there like on foot walking through the whole Arima. So my wife, she was in a car and she was close by. So although I was walking around, it's always nice to have somebody, just in case you run into some kind of trouble or something along the way, just you have somebody there to support and like backing you up kind of thing. Now. So she would, that aspect, she will come out and support me like that for certain things. Just having somebody there. In my case, when I'm going out in these places, somebody's dependable to come and pick you up and thing afterwards.
And your wife is a content creator as well. She has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, she has. Julia Mean.
Yeah, and I will put links to Julia's YouTube channel in the show notes as well. That's fantastic, but I think yesterday I was talking to a writer and his wife is a writer and an artist as well. And this dog was barking in the background yesterday and really distracted him. you got married in 2022.
Yeah, last year.
How badly you wanted to vlog that wedding, boy?
You know, strange enough, right? And I kind of regret it now. I was like, you know what? I wasn't planning to vlog that. Our moment, we keep it private. And that's the next thing I did with Trinbago Vibes. I wanted Trinbago Vibes to be everything Trinidad and Tobago. From my lens, right? From my point of view. And I'll train snippets of my personality, snippets of probably my life. But this is not like a vlog for me. The main focus is Trinidad and Tobago, anything outside, everything that is Trinidad and Tobago. So whether it be places, whether it be food places, whether it be beaches. Now and again, I will probably do some personal stuff, but it'll be sprinkled in fun in between.
And you rather it that way.
And that's I rather that way. So that way is I know I'm in the spotlight at the same time, because even sometimes when you're outside now and reaching over 6,000, reaching a certain amount of subscribers, people will hail you out. And it's like, sometimes I doesn't be sure. It's still kind of be hard to register in my head sometimes when I'm out in public. People will be watching me all the time. And people just come up and ask for pictures like, well, yeah, no problem, and whatnot. But it's like, people will be hailing me out and like, is me the hailing out or somebody else, boy? Because you had that moment where you go to somebody hailing out, you just come and raise your hand and somebody behind you, they're hailing out. Those kind of moments. So I was thinking is that. So it's still taking me a while to get accustomed to, like, if somebody hailing me out, I'm not sure it's like, if they're hailing me out or somebody else, boy.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
So it's still have that moment. It's kind of surreal sometimes in the sense.
Since you started your YouTube channel, what is the biggest door opportunity that has presented itself for you? And one that you wouldn't have had if you didn't start YouTube?
I guess one of the biggest doors is meeting a wider variety of people all over the place. And also doing things and trying things that I would know about, but it's like procrastination and laziness would have normally be like, I feel to sit down here home on my couch watching Netflix or watching TV or whatever, than actually run out there and record something. So I guess doing YouTube actually made me a little more adventurous in getting out and actually sticking to a plan. Was like, because I have the idea of one video per week, like it forces me to actually get out there and create. And it actually helps me out of my laziness in a sense, because give me a chance, I'll be real lazy. Yeah, I'll sit down home with some food and either be watching Netflix or playing some games or something, or even.
It stands out, Retrieve. We were talking earlier when we went for that roti.
Yeah.
And you were sharing what your schedule looks like. You might go out and tape on a Saturday after this podcast.
Yeah, actually.
You're going to something with Caribbean Airlines, some carnival type event. You may do something again Sunday, and you stand out as someone, and you're not the first person I meet, but you stand out as one of the people who have dedicated a big part of their lives towards content creation. And is an honor to sit here and talk to you and realize more than I already knew.
Yeah.
How much you invested in what you're doing. And I would look in your comment section and you engage in people, whether it's by comment or a heart, and that's real admirable that you're standing there. And I'm really encouraging folks who listening to this to go and take a look at Rajiv's channel. Again, the links in the show notes. This question has come to mind. You were born and grew up in South.
Yeah.
You live in North now.
Yeah.
You hop all over Trinidad. South roti or North roti? What's the absolute greatest roti you ever eaten in Trinidad and Tobago?
South roti. I have no place I've came across so far in North, even East, that could touch a South roti.
Is there a particular roti shop you're thinking about? I asking this on
because Mona's in Marabella and Dollar Bear in Vista Bella. So it's like 5 minutes away from each other.
Say them names again. Let them register in my head.
Mona's in Marabella, that's staple. And Israeli R&S roti shop, but in it everybody knows it as Dollar Bear. Right? That is in Vista Bella.
And in all the places you've visited in Trinidad, what's your absolute favorite place? Or let me narrow it down to your YouTube channel. Whether it performed well in terms of views or not, was a video that is your absolute you had the best experience, whether it's filming it, editing it. What's your favorite video on your YouTube channel?
That's very difficult. I'm not sure because there are a few videos I enjoy doing, and it was a simple process. And then there are other videos where it was a task to get done, to edit it, because of certain clips I didn't get or certain files was corrupted. So I had to improvise. But to choose a best spot boy, and you're not coming to me at the moment.
I realize, one of the things that's standing out is how I feel like I'm winging this interview pretty good.
No, because like earlier, that's Lyndon was apologizing from before, saying that, hey, sorry, I have nothing really prepared and this and that. But I was keep telling him, it's YouTube and we can sit down here and talk about this till thy kingdom come.
Yeah, because it's two creators talking about something that, you're living, breathing, sleeping in
exactly.
one way. You use the word burnout when we were talking earlier, and I wonder if I'm going through like you have any kind of experience along those lines that you're just tired of doing YouTube. I know this is something that's supposed to encourage people, but what's the reality along those lines for you?
Yeah. So as we were saying earlier, YouTube takes a lot of work. At least for us. We don't just vlog on my phone and then upload, or just one simple vlog and then upload. We himself do just a few clips and put it together and upload. We actually go the extra mile. We'll do the research. We'll incorporate different clips. We'll try to tell a story. We'll try to find music, sometimes copyright-free music, to incorporate it just to give it an extra experience. We'll try to get B-roll, because all these things, I think, add to different videos. So in the editing process, first, it tends to be a little longer and a little more time-consuming. Like, for example, look, I started watching the podcast with Yayon and his video process and editing. And he had a top-of-the-line editing style. The only problem is I find it take too long to put out the videos because of the editing, probably because of the editing time, right? So you just had to find a balance in between that. But keep on doing that over and over and over, apart from we having our regular lives, right? In terms of you and your kids, your family and everything. And in case, and work, I'm sure. And in my case, basically I now start in a family and still have things around the house. After a while, going out there, chasing down YouTube, doing YouTube videos, you would get tired. After a while, it becomes mentally draining in a sense, and you could get fatigued, especially like when you keep thinking about, you want to do this certain idea, but you don't have the time to do it, and then the weather is not conducive to get it done. Because here in the Caribbean, it's hot sun and rain, and sometimes.
And it becomes more apparent, as you see, when you have a family and you have different responsibilities, you're building your home and whatnot. And, while you're talking, I'm wondering if your trajectory, whether it's before 2025 or it may not even be in your notebook, but part of the journey might be for you like, okay, I need to decide how I want to take this into family vlogs or something around the home. So you constantly have to be, I mean, apart from... I really appreciate it when you say, part of my vision or the things that I want to accomplish is seen as much as Trinidad as I would want to.
Yeah.
And of course, we want all the little things that come with it, whether it's the 10,000 subscribers, whether it's you're doing a live and we watching that YouTube plaque behind you. what they call it, the plate or whatever, that they get at 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, the diamond button.
And I remember having a conversation recently. It was about... is the growth of the individual creator going to be something where you're looking at, I need to team up with someone else? I need to think about this as a business. And on this topic of business, beyond and outside YouTube monetization, how, are you connecting with sponsors? Are you thinking along those lines? Because we all want to upgrade, right?
Yeah.
What is your process for connecting with sponsors, or is that something that you're totally ignoring? Where your mind at in terms of saying, I could find a sponsor to say, this video is sponsored by XYZ?
I would welcome sponsors for any video. And in some cases, it's people who not even do have a business would send funds and say, hey, you could do a video on this. All right. This is one subscriber. He actually sent me saying like, bro, you could just feature Rima for me. I would like if you could do that. I say, sure. And that is how that Rima video came about.
This is what a Trini based Abroad?
Yeah, Trinidad based abroad. He grew up in Arima, but he living in the States now. So, and he just wanted to see hometown kind of thing now, as it currently is. And that is what I end up doing. And for me and sponsors, like I said, I will welcome certain sponsors, and people has been reaching out to me. But at the same time, it's like, I'm a person, I kind of want to vet you first before I have you up on the channel. So I have certain videos that I plan to do this year, and I already talked to certain people to get it sponsored. So I have those things kind of covered. And as for new people and stuff that I don't know, and these are people I know for sure. So like if I know I'm going to showcase you on one of the channels, I know that if anybody come to buy your stuff or check out your products, I ain't stand them wrong. So that is one of the downside of sometimes some of these sponsors who reach out to you, because I don't know them per se, and I would like to get to know them. But you just have to be careful, I realize, on when you have certain platforms on who you're promoting and what you're promoting. So it's not to say I'm not looking. I have those ideas, because a while back I think I called you. Yeah, I called you and was like, so how much is charged for sponsorship and thing? And we had that conversation, and that basically the baseline I work with, more or less.
You're right. And to recap that point quickly, it is about, being safe in terms of choosing a sponsor. And I want to say this, if you're an aspiring creator listening, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, I have found that they are a lot more receptive than we think. You will approach a sponsor and it's like, yeah, I didn't even know you was open for that type of business. So occasionally, I think we have a responsibility not to sing the song every video.
Yeah.
But maybe every 3-4 videos, you remind people that if you want to sponsor, and I'm saying this and I'm guilty of not doing it sufficiently, but you need to let people know that you're open for business.
Yeah.
If you're passing in front of a roti shop and they have an open sign, you know that roti shop open and you're going there and buy a roti. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the
Yeah,
go ahead.
Before we jump in that, sponsorship as well. A good strategy, as I saw our next YouTuber has, is that in his videos, he has the sponsors, but he have a clause that they'll be sponsored on the video for a year. So after a year goes by, he will go on YouTube editor and cut out that piece of the sponsorship. So it will take away from the video. Because our next thing is easy for like sponsors. I think the best thing for us when we're doing our sponsorship is to integrate the sponsor into the video. But you can't, and if you can do it seamlessly, that's the best way to do it. But it'll be hard because sometimes some sponsors would want certain things said or certain things shown. So it's a whole different ball game. But at the end of the day, you're right. When we're doing this, you have to think of this as our business in order for you to continue doing it. Because if you're doing YouTube for fun and you don't really care about anything else, and continue doing whatever you're doing. But if you're looking to like use this as a platform to grow yourself and grow a business, you'll have to start to consider treating it as a business.
Have you ever considered any kind of business other than YouTube to say, hey, I have this reach with these people that they would follow when I integrate ads or whatever? Do you have any kind of side projects or hobbies? Yeah, your guy tour in Trinidad and Tobago. Have you thought about maybe, hey, let me have a once a month roti hopping with retrieve and they pay a price and you carry the marble at the roti that you have any kind of vision? I mean, some of it may be secret, but you're thinking along those lines in terms of having other streams of income from it?
Actually, yeah, I was actually looking at becoming a tour guide, and it's basically there's a course to take in John D. Well, you use UTT now in Port of Spain. I can't remember the name of it, and it's basically a 3-month course, and you become a certified tour guide. So and then you could technically take people on tours and things.
And your skills in terms of your day job, is that something you could somehow work into your channel, or it doesn't have a fit and it'll have to be?
No, it doesn't have a fit. Because, like I said, is the reason why I went with Trinbago Vibes is the focus is not so much me per se. It is on the country. We hometown, so to speak, Trinidad and Tobago. So that the goal is you yourself say somewhere down the line where I can't do these kind of videos anymore. At least, hopefully, if I'm able to bring in somebody else to take over they could still take over and carry on Trinbago Vibes. You yourself say the channel stop showcasing after a while and say somewhere down the line, somebody come in like, hey, I could get access to the channel to continue this kind of training start. And once I vet them and everything and they doing the same thing, it could take a whole different approach. So that's one of the main reasons why I went with like Trinbago Vibes as well, so that it could continue even after me if anybody wants.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. But in 2025, you're hearing somebody saying, "What's up, my Trinbago Vibes Peeps?" And when you're seeing some upcoming creator and they're representing your channel and you're dropping 5 videos a week because you have people going around different parts of Trinidad.
So that's one of the next reasons why I use that name instead of like my name with Lyndon Baptiste. Once you close down that or you stop producing it, it's not like anybody else could take that and run with it because it's associated with you, with your name. Yes, Trinbago Vibes could be associated with me. And so if somebody else come in, it might take a little while to change their thoughts. But after a while, once the vibes the same and the same kind of style and what people are accustomed to, they'll be easy to adapt into it. So that's a next aspect of why I didn't really use my name when I was starting the channel.
Yeah, fantastic, Rajiv. I'm real enjoying this conversation. And just to be clear, before we wrap up, is there anything we haven't discussed along the lines of YouTube that you would like to talk about?
Probably have plenty, but nothing coming to mind at the moment. So you might have to come back again.
For round 2. Our next rounds.
Yeah, next rounds.
No, for fantastic talking to you. I real thank you very much for showing me the behind the scenes of what your thought process looks like. And I wish you all the best with what you're doing and seeing the goals and the targets as they unravel themselves. And there's a new sense of appreciation that comes to me.
Yeah.
And I hope it comes to the listeners too in terms of the work that you're doing. So to remind folks that I will put the links to Rajiv's channel, Trinbago Vibes, to his wife's channel, Julia's channel. And thanks once again, sir.
But before we go, I'd say, I didn't think I'd touch on this too much because we were talking about mental health and mental fatigue. Like one of the best things I've seen you do on your channel is tell people, hey, I'm taking a break. Right? Don't mind, I have, like, my goal is to post a video every week. It doesn't mean I'll be run down. It's had times where how I combat that, I will go out and film a bunch of videos and edit it and then schedule it. So then sometimes for 2 weeks, I just home relaxing, not doing nothing, but I already have videos scheduled. So after those 2 weeks done, I'll just jump back out. So I just take those 2 weeks to myself. So that is one way I combat the being mentally fatigue. You need to take your time for yourself, time off, to just, recenter in a sense before you jump back into
and time things. For your wife.
Of course, all the time.
You're a married man now, But it's absolutely, and I mean, you don't know how long these spells could last. And it's a really important conversations that you're having, and I'm glad you bring it up. Because I know I am in the middle of one that's going on for like about 2 months or more. You have to find definitely ways to balance it. And most times it just boils down to taking a break.
Yeah, all the time. If you say you want to go, just go in the beach and just relax. Or just, not think about anything YouTube until you're ready to jump back in. That's just how you gotta do it. Because at the end of the day, we are only humans. We are not machines. So just keep doing this thing over and over and over. Although consistency is a factor to try and get to the 10,000 subscribers. You have to be also consistent. But at the same time, that could lead to burnout. So you have to learn to balance. You have to find a way to find balance in that aspect. But we'll talk about more of that probably in round 2.
In round 2. And I'm really looking forward to you hitting 10,000 subscribers. I'm looking forward to what you have planned. And I just need you to do one more thing before we go.
What's that?
Just give me the intro for your videos.
What's up, Trinbago Vibes Peeps? Welcome to another episode of the podcast with Lyndon Baptiste.
Thank you very much, Rajiv.
You're welcome, man. Take care.